Donovan and Devon Sharpe. How are you doing?
Doing good.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So, we had originally planned to do an interview in around October.
Yeah.
But you were hospitalized with 91 DVOC.
There you go.
And you did a live stream where it was like you were, hiding from Devon, like it was the secretive live stream.
Yeah, right. That's right.
And can you first of all, can you talk a little bit about that whole thing?
Yeah, man.
Yep.
It's weird because Dev actually just got over COVID. She had like the cough and the sneezing and the sniffling or whatever, and so she took the test and she tested positive, but it was the good COVID. She didn't miss a single workout, was eating, drinking, everything was good. Mine was the bad COVID. That one tanked my oxygen levels. My blood toxicity was all over the place, according to the doctors. I didn't have too much difficulty breathing, but I remember the ward I was in, and there were other people in there, and there were people in there who were in, like, their health markers were worse than mine. Like, there was a fat guy in there, and he's up walking around, and I'm, I got, tubes all everywhere, and I'm feeling like shit. So the one thing that taught me, man, is that your body chemistry has a lot to do with how COVID affects you. Recovery wise, I think maybe your physical health and well-being certainly helps, but it doesn't really seem to be any better or worse based on what kind of shape you're in. Because if that fat sloppy guy had what I had, but was still able to walk around, and I, Mr. Weightlifter extraordinaire, could get it and, pretty much be laid up for, a little more than a week, then at that point, I said, okay, well, this is what it is. I guess this is, I never asked, oh, why me, blah, 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 blah. I was just focused on getting out, and I was trying to get out for the Wilder Fury fight, but unfortunately, ended up getting out the next morning. But other than that, it was, my life was never in danger. And I know listen, man, Heather in the hospital, oh, he's in critical condition. I was never about to die. I think the reason why they listed me as critical condition was just to, I guess, heighten everyone's awareness of everything that was going on. But the entire time, I never felt that my life was in danger. And so, but after I started to recover, it started to recover very quickly. I tried to get out in time for the fight. They told me to get up and walk around and all this other kind of stuff, and I stumbled a little bit. And they said, nope, you got to be here. You got to be here for at least another night. But all in all, it was a positive ish experience. And unfortunately, I had to cancel the CME, but we've got another one coming up, so that's all.
Okay, so wait a minute. Devon's, she's shaking her head. So what was this whole thing like for you?
It was just stressful. I'm used to relying on him for all the ins and outs of the day to day, and I felt really lost. He wasn't. I don't know. I don't like being alone either. So.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And it's funny.
I gave you the key to let yourself out of the cage.
Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that.
No problem.
But I don't know. It's funny because we were both double vaxxed at that point. And in December, I got triple vaxxed.
Yep.
And then New Year's Day, I tested positive. So hopefully, that's something that kind of helped it not be as serious, because I do have asthma, and I'm like been terrified of getting that. So
oh, that's right. I was double vaxxed when I got mine, but I wasn't triple vaxxed.
Right,
you were triple vaxxed.
When you tested positive, I was negative. I tested positive. You tested negative. It's just super random.
That's the craziest thing. Like, I had COVID. She lives with me. We're in the same bed doing all this stuff. She never tested positive ever, ever, ever. And I'm like deathly ill. Then she gets COVID. Then I took a COVID test. I'm negative, so I don't know. Who knows? Listen, neither one of us has it right now, and we're both still, we're both not dead, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange. We used to think that the way that you get it was, off of surfaces and stuff.
Right.
And though you can get it off surfaces, it doesn't survive as long as the flu, which can survive up to like a couple weeks.
Yeah, right.
And so that was part of the reason why everybody was all about the hand sanitizer and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But then when they figured out that it's actually airborne, so then that's actually the chief way that it is actually circulating.
Yeah.
Now, I'm an academic. I teach for a living. I'm a music professor, and saxophone is the instrument I teach specifically. So there's all of these rules that we're following, and there's these studies that have been done, and it's the goofiest thing, because if you understand how a saxophone is designed, there's a saxophone actually right there on the wall.
Yep.
But if you understand how a saxophone is designed, you see that there's holes all over the place. It's not just holes around where your face is.
Right.
There's holes all around the instrument. And so for the brass instruments, they were having them put bell covers on, which makes sense to a certain extent.
Right. And you're talking about the trumpet, the cornet, the trombone, the tuba, etc.
Right. But for saxophone, they were saying, okay, some folks were putting bell covers on, but that does nothing, because because all of the openings everywhere, all over around the instrument, right? So really the only way to quote unquote safely, play the saxophone or whatever would be to play in a bag.
Laminate yourself.
Yeah. So the horn is in a bag, and I've seen some of these full-sized. It's totally ridiculous. Of course, nobody is doing that.
Of course not. Why play the instrument, right? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. So it's just strange. There's a lot of wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. Okay, well, wear a mask, but it's got to be the N95 mask.
Yeah.
Well, that actually makes sense, because those are the only masks that actually really do anything.
Yeah, right.
So and then there's the whole political thing. It's like, well, if such and such is wearing a mask and they're in public, then then they care about other people. But if this other person is not wearing a mask, apparently they really don't care about the safety of other people, and they're they're
leave it to me
POS
to politicize everything. I did not realize. I had no idea that the mask, non-mask, or vax, non-vax was split along party lines. I didn't realize that. I was like, wait a minute, conservatives are anti-vax, and whatever. It was just all too much for me. I just wanted to listen. Yeah. We used common sense. We wore masks when we were in public places. We washed our hands. And dude, Dev and I, during 2020, that was when the outbreak happened. We were traveling everywhere. Dude, Miami, Phoenix, Vegas,
Reno.
Reno, Detroit. Like, we were all Connecticut. We were all over the place all the time. Never caught it.
North Carolina.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we were everywhere.
Now, I'm going to say, and I know that you all got the jab.
Oh yeah,
early on.
I'm triple jab now. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got it relatively early on, and you were advocating. Not telling people to do it, but you were advocating, at least people that they take the whole COVID thing seriously.
I just want to get back to normal life at this point.
To me, Shawn, it's absolutely crazy that people actually believe that the jab is I just don't. And it's interesting, man, because I've actually talked to my doctors, people not only with a human interest, but a vested interest in my recovery. Because guess what? A dead patient is a non-paying patient, okay? And I'm a cash, I don't have health insurance. I'm a cash customer through and through. And so to intentionally kill me with some sort of vaccination, that would be counterproductive. But people are basing their anti-vaccination stances on shit that they see on the internet. And it is absolutely crazy to me. No one is talking to actual physical doctors. We got kooks out here like Kyrie fucking Irving.
Thank you so much for watching my video so far. If you'd like to support, there are several ways to do so below. Also, likes are free. Please comment, share, and subscribe. Now back to the video.
Fucking Irving, he doesn't want to get the vaccination, trying to stand on his, like, bruh, it's not that serious, man. Do you want to win the NBA title or not? And it's just, and listen, I had a feeling Kyrie wouldn't take the vax because he's just that dude. I don't have anything against him, but fam, I don't understand why people could possibly think that the government is actively trying to kill you. It just doesn't make any sense. I think it's a bunch of fake news. It was a bunch of hoo-ha, and it's just people, like, we always say that gullible people, there are all sorts of gullible people. There are people out there that believe everything they see and hear. But the people who are even more dangerous are people who don't believe anything they see and hear. They think that everything is scripted or everything is planned or everything is a conspiracy. Listen, there are things that are conspiracies, but dude, there are just some things that just fucking happen. The whole, like, this ain't the fucking Truman Show. You know what I mean? Like, there is no Ed Harris, cue the sun. No, like, this is just some random shit. This is human evolution. So I'm not going back and forth with those idiots. If they want to be anti-vax for whatever reason, that's not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is women and self-improvement. So that's the reason I didn't really go there on that one.
Yeah. You know, there is, I do understand somewhat, because there is a history, especially with the black community, of the government sort of monkeying around and doing some weird stuff.
Sure.
And so at least I understand why people would be somewhat apprehensive. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think the sort of going the next step with that in all of the conspiracy stuff, yeah.
I honestly was that surprised when people push back on the vaccines.
I'm naive. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, because I've seen it happen in the mothers community. My niece and her friends and stuff, their parents don't want to vaccinate their kids because they think it causes autism.
That
the
Jenny
whole
McCarthy
Jenny McCarthy,
bullshit. Oh
Jim
my
Carrey
God,
thing,
Jesus
yeah. And it's, you
Christ.
know, this like, let's believe people over facts and science. So
Jenny McCarthy, just the reason why she said that she doesn't want to come to grips with the fact that she shit out a fucked up kid, like your kid had autism because of something, and it's not her fault. But she takes that so personally. Well, it couldn't have been me. I'm perfect. I'm Jenny fucking McCarthy.
genetic lottery.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah, right. Like, she hit the fucking genetic lottery. She didn't capitalize on it as much as she thought she could. She has a baby with Jim Carrey. The kid's autistic. Couldn't have been me. Couldn't have been Jim. It must have been the vaccinations.
Yeah.
Got it.
There's a narrative for pretty much everything.
It's
So pick your
ridiculous.
path and be at peace with it, I think.
All right. Now, one of my favorite shows, period, is The Six.
Yeah, man.
It's and you know, that's how I discovered Jap.
Good.
You know, Myron, Kevin. You know, I mean, you just had this all-star lineup, and it has sort of changed somewhat. I knew about Solo TV 84, Solomon Jones, and actually Solo, he was one of the first people that the YouTube algorithm started suggesting that I listen to.
Huh. Okay.
In my whole sort of journey, and so I kind of discovered you because of Solo.
Okay.
And then of course Solo was on The Six, and yeah. So anyhow, it's one of my favorite shows, and your programming is not just I think thought-provoking and, you know, quite spicy, but it's also produced really well.
Right.
I mean, all of the bells and whistles that you have in our first interview, I told you, a number of things that I had basically just copied from your programming.
Hey, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, and one of them is the microphone that I'm using. Another one is the screen behind me playing another video.
Great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'll pay you later.
Very
but even stuff like, and I'm gonna, but even stuff like just having,
multiple camera angles.
Multiple camera angles. Let's see, I've got a couple more here.
Holy shit, you do. God damn. Wow. Whoa, that's 6 right there.
Let's go.
Holy moly. 1, 2, 3. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that was 6.
So,
dimensional 5D, baby.
So, all of that stuff, though, is... Oh, let me get back here. Okay. All of that stuff really was inspired by just seeing the level that you do your show at. Yeah. And just the production quality. And that's the kind of stuff that I tend to gravitate towards. And whenever I've learned a new discipline or, I always jump all the way in the deep end. Yes. And it's like I always find the most challenging, the hardest stuff to deal with. And that was one of the reasons that your show was immediately appealing to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. I work at it, man. I needed a way to differentiate myself from other guys in this space. And what it comes down to, man, is people respect they respect good content, especially if it helps them out. They respect it even more if they see that you take it seriously. I think the only exception to that rule is AMS. And I joke with him about this all the time. I was like, bruh, you are the only dude to be able to amass 1 million subscribers with literally nothing but a goddamn camera phone. We were actually laughing about that a couple weeks ago. We were talking on the phone about another situation. But outside of the outliers, you have to separate yourself. You got to be able to separate yourself from others in the same space. There are a lot of people who have come into the red pill space. Well, listen, we see them come and go. They think that they can come in here and parrot ideas, and they do, and it works for a little while. But if they don't have that internal knowledge, they don't really have much else to talk about. And so we see a lot of those guys flame out. Well, guys like myself, Kevin Samuels, Myron Gaines, we've lived this stuff. You know what I mean? We speak with this is empirical data. We've lived this. Myron and Fresh, they are out in the field doing this stuff. I did this for almost 10 years in Vegas. Kevin is 52, 53 years old, so he knows the game. But we've seen a lot of Johnny come latelys try to sort of come in and sort of infiltrate the space, and people don't take them seriously because their production is fairly shitty. It's basically just two guys or a dude just sitting there yammering off at the mouth. So I think good production, I don't want to say it can be a buffer, but I think good production will at least it'll get more first-time eyeballs onto the screen. Now, if they like your content, they'll stick around. If they don't, they don't. But at least you had that opportunity. Production will get you more opportunities for viewers than just a camera phone and an opinion.
You gotta understand, Donovan doesn't do anything halfway.
Oh, no.
This studio and the evolution of his show is just a microcosm of who he really is. He's always reinvesting, looking for ways to improve things, where I'm more of a function over form kind of person. I'm like, it works, don't do anything.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm always, what are you doing up there? Oh, I'm doing this. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna ask. I'm just gonna wait and see how the end result is. I'm sure it'll be great. I just trust him so much that he hasn't made a wrong decision yet. And if he does, he just quickly course corrects, and I'll never know about it. So
I'm always up here. I don't know how many times I've reconfigured this
at
this
least
studio.
once a week. You're doing something in here. It takes you all day, at least once a week.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm always tinkering. I'm always I'm always looking for ways to improve the production, the surrounding. And there's only so much you can do with production in terms of evolution. You also have to evolve with your content. And just like you mentioned a little bit earlier, a couple of alumni from the Six, Kevin and Myron, they have gone mainstream. They've amassed almost over now 2 million subscribers between them. Myron and Fresh will probably crack 1 million before this year is up, this calendar year is up. And the common denominator is that they have allowed women onto the platform to allow women to be a part of the conversation. I wanted to differentiate myself from Kevin and Myron simply because they're doing it already. So their interactions with women are mostly confrontational, women who disagree with whatever we talk about, which is normal. It is what it is. But I wanted to find a group of women who agreed with what we talk about over here in this sector of the web. And I think there's definitely a niche market. And there have been other content creators who have tried to assemble panels of women to talk about things from a red pill perspective, but those don't work because most women deep down inside really don't agree with what we talk about. Very, very few women actually wholeheartedly agree. And these are the 5 women that I have chosen: my own girlfriend, Tallulah Johnson, Alyssa Villanueva, aka Ali V, Janelle Gordon, and Pearl Davis. All 5 of these women, and I vetted them all very thoroughly. I wanted to make sure that listen, they've all said things on their podcast that were, anti, Donovan Sharpe, Fresh and Fit, Kevin Samuels. That's fine. And they don't have to agree with everything, but all of these women have the same fundamental beliefs. And that's the reason I took the show in the direction that it's taken. And I think it's going to take off. As a matter of fact, I think this is going to be so successful. We can actually probably sometime next year, we can probably start taking the party offline and maybe doing a CME and then maybe having a derivative of the CME where there's like a woman's luncheon or maybe women to give speeches to other women. Now, instead of bringing men, we're bringing men and women in relationships, which obviously means we're influencing more people. We're making more of a change because listen, man, the Manosphere, we've maxed out on potential. We've reached as many men as we possibly can. You're either in or you're not. Well, now that if we want to expand, we have to start including women. And that's what I've started to listen. Kevin and Myron did it and look where they're at. So I figure, hey, you know what? If I can have just a percentage of their success, I'll be good with that.
So, of course I went to the CME.
Yes.
And you were extremely generous. It was me and 2 other guys, Dr. Doug and Ike Ogiamian.
Oh yeah, Ike was cool, dude.
Yeah, and we went there and I had a great time. First-rate accommodations. I've been to dozens of men's conferences, in particular church men's conferences.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, your conference, the quality of the presentations, the subject matter, the stuff that men actually need to hear, as opposed to the, basically just get in line, happy wife, happy life,
right.
And, rather than that kind of talk, it was really practical and productive stuff. And I mean, there was a few things that were a little more spicy, but almost all of the content was stuff that could have been at a church conference.
Oh, okay.
And see, the thing is that an indication to me that churches, and in particular black churches, have not stepped up to the plate to do what is necessary, and or have slowly but surely discontinued things that they were doing that were positive, that were actually helping black men. Now, an indication of that is the need the absolute need for what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Because there really shouldn't be a need. If churches are stepping up, it really shouldn't be a need.
I agree.
The CME Conference really shouldn't be a need if churches were really stepping up and doing what they should be doing. What do you think about that?
I agree. I agree, and I think you have. Dev has an interesting take on the church, or no?
I can't speak from what it does for the Black community, but
She wants to stay away from that.
yeah, it's not my area of expertise. I have no business talking about
It's
that.
funny, real quick. I'll be like, Devon, what do you think of Black women in the dating market? And she is just cricket. She doesn't want to fuck with that.
That's hilarious.
I know, like I
think
only
it's
know
great.
like what I know, and that's like my trainer. She's very into Christian blogging and faith-fueled fitness and stuff like that. So she's
She's a good lady, man.
yeah. So that's very much part of her business and stuff, and she doesn't push it on anybody, but like her values are the same as like Donovan and I's.
Yeah.
As far, especially when it comes to marriage, family, and like just gender roles and things of that nature. So her and I get along great. I can talk to her about anything. But you're right, there isn't a lot of support in the church for the family.
No, more specifically towards men, and I think that this is a problem that's indicative of all churches, but just like you said, more specifically in Black churches. If churches, because let's keep it 100, the Bible is a red pill. That's a red pill publication.
Yep.
It absolutely is.
Yep.
But what churches have figured out is that religion is not like Christianity, Judaism, Episcopalianism, other derivatives of Christianity. It's no longer really a religion. It's an industry. And like all industries, your success is dependent upon how many customers you can acquire. And what it comes down to is that churches have figured out what Derek Jackson figured out, is if you tell specifically Black people what they want to hear rather than what they need to hear, then you're going to get more people in your congregation. Well, the problem with that is that you can't tell both parties what they want to hear. You can only tell one what they want to hear. And of course, because there are more women than men, women are governed more by their emotions than logic. Well, then the churches, they cater towards the women, strong and independent, and find a man in the church and this and that. And so, dude, I did a podcast about this. I think this might've been like episode 70. It's like almost 800 episodes ago. The red pill, the red pill perspective on the existence of God. And I also wrote an article for another website, why Black men have been disenfranchised by the church. The church doesn't look out for men anymore. And the Black church damn sure doesn't look out for Black men anymore. They are really happy kowtowing and catering to Black women. And so, yeah, listen, you go to any Black church, and Shawn, I'm sure you probably see a lot of single women in the Black church. Not too many dudes, not too many men, not too many Black men going to Black churches anymore, at least not at the rate that Black women are. So, hey, congratulations. The church mission accomplished. Your pews are full. Unfortunately, the people who actually have the spending power and who have more of the influence, guys like us, are checking out.
Yeah, the church issue is a multifaceted issue. So, there is what I call pop Christianity, which is sort of taken over.
Good. I like
taken
that.
over everything in the West, it seems. And then there's there's more liturgical forms that are in keeping more with the early church. I'm actually Orthodox.
Oh,
and
I did not know that. Okay.
And so there's an issue with the design of Protestant churches. And I'm by no means am I throwing Protestant churches under the bus per se. I'm a church musician. I work at a Protestant church.
Right.
That's
like what?
However,
I have Black friends. I'm not racist.
Right.
Oh, I gotta say, like, I gotta come out. Listen, I have black friends. I'm not racist, sons of bitches. Anyway,
but I think there's a challenge with the way that the service is structured, which I think lends itself to, once you get these huge auditoriums, certain human tendencies that are natural and normal can kind of get out of control.
Yep, greed and lust.
Yes, those are part of them. Another one of them is just okay. So I'm a musician, and I play all over the place, concerts, big venues, small venues, all kinds of different venues. And of course, I've played concerts where maybe the venue was maybe not right sized for the program, for the concert.
Yeah.
And so there were a lot of seats that were left over. Now, even if I had, say, 100 people, 200 people there, if the place seats 500, my natural instinct is to look at the seats that don't have anyone in them.
Oh, why is that? That's interesting.
Okay, now this is why this happens. It's not because you don't appreciate the people that are there.
Okay.
It's because you think, but what could I have done to fill those seats?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it's about filling up whatever the capacity of the space is.
Right. Wow.
So one of the issues, I think, is that we've gotten to this place where we think that these churches should be bigger and bigger and bigger because, hey, more people are coming. Right. But that's not the early church model. The early church model was if you had 50 people, 100 people, it's time for another. You need another church.
Absolutely.
Because you need to keep them small so that the pastor actually knows everybody by name. He knows all the families. He knows details about their lives.
Yes.
And so that it's really a tight-knit community. These mega churches, they have staffs of pastors because the senior pastor couldn't possibly have any kind of real relationship with the congregants.
Man, that's like a corporation, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a real problem. But if you can imagine, if you're in a church and say the sanctuary seats 5,000. And you're routinely getting 3,000 to show up, and that's ridiculous numbers, by the way. But you're routinely getting 3,000 people to show up, but you can still see those other seats that are not getting filled. So then it's like, well, and it's not that you necessarily consciously aware of this. I think subconsciously you're just like, man, that sermon must not have been.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that sermon series just wasn't the kind of thing that people need to hear right now.
Okay.
So I need to preach on this other topic, and then I noticed that more people showed up when I preached on those.
That sounds like YouTube
Marketing.
Yeah, that sounds like marketing because Myron and Fresh talk, and there are memes about it. When they talk about Money Mondays or Real Estate Friday, they'll get a few hundred people. But, Fresh and Fit after hours with, 11 lovely ladies and, one bimbo gets out of pocket, she gets brain castled, it's standing room only. But just like you said, the bigger these churches get, the more human nature starts to take over, Man, I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't know that you have to be like an evil person.
No, I don't think so.
To be sort of taking advantage of that. And you may not even be aware that you're taking advantage of that or or what's influencing you. But obviously, topics that focus on men's issues are not going to be the type of topics that fill the church up.
There you go. And this is exactly why churches kowtow to women. It's just not, just like you said, man, if the church talks about men's issues, they're going to get pushback, It's sad to see. And I mean, I'm not an overly religious person, but I think that it's important for all people to at least have their tribe. And if your tribe happens to be a church, more power to you. Like if,
Right.
I don't know, man, if you go to church or some sort of a weekly meeting and you have rules and principles and all that to live by, I think you're going to be a pretty well-adjusted person. Devon, didn't you say religions are all pretty much the same? Just be a good person and do good things and you'll be all right.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can draw a parallel through all three of these things that you're discussing. And one example is, you know, that commercial with the Apple Watch that they have out right now? And it's based on the principle of hurt and rescue.
Oh, yes.
So
Right.
Someone falls off a bike in the woods and they haven't responded. It sends their longitude, latitude to 911.
Or a guy out to sea or something like that.
Yeah, guys getting pushed out to sea. So basically, it's that concept of hurt and rescue. Religion is also based on hurt and rescue. As far as, you know, most Christianity, where you're born in sin, you need God to, you know, fix your life, and then everything's good.
Okay.
You know, but same thing with the red pill content and YouTube. Hurt and rescue is what gets the most views as well.
Huh.
She's
That's a good point.
female in pain, you know, gets humiliated.
Oh, yes.
And
right,
this is
right.
why. You know,
Post-wall woman gets rejected by Alpha 10.
Yeah, that's 30,000 views in the first day.
Yeah, right.
But actually, you know, say, hey, here's how to get your money right in the current pandemic, whatever, 2 views, you know, nobody cares. Oh, self-improvement? Nah, I want to hear her get dogged, you know?
Yeah, right.
But, you know, the hurt and rescue is powerful, but it serves a purpose. And, you know, people are going to pay attention to the things that seem urgent.
Not only that, we use the hurt and rescue technique as bait. Like, because again, being successful as a content creator means eyeballs. I can't help people if they don't have a reason to watch my show. So while I might, 35-year-old, you know, single mom gets rejected by her ex-boy or ex-baby daddy, whatever, people will come in to watch that shit show. Hopefully they'll stay for, hey, this is how to vet a woman properly, or hey, this is how to run your relationship, or hey, this is how to exercise financial shrewdness. So they come for the fiasco, but hopefully they stay for the self-improvement. And that's really the model.
But by that line of thinking, you would expect everyone who watched my 600-pound life to be in like great health and have perfect diets. Because you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh my God.
In the sense that is like I'll watch Hoarders on the weekend to get me motivated to clean my house. You know, like it's similar to me.
No, that makes sense.
That's a good.
My 600 life.
Okay.
We watch that all the time.
I love that show.
Yes.
There you go.
Now, I will say this, you know, and there are black churches where they're not making these same sorts of mistakes.
Okay.
One of them is Geno Jennings.
Okay. Who's that?
And actually, and I think his church is in Philly, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Geno Jennings, man, he is stating facts. I mean, he's right between the eyes. He's calling foolishness out. And it doesn't matter if it's female foolishness.
Oh, shit. We got to look him up. Geno Jennings.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you know, Jap frequently has a clip on his channel with the preacher that is going in on women for, you know,
DNOs.
You know, being in the being in the choir stand, you know, with their extra long nails and you know, the ankle chains and all like this. Like he goes in.
And the wristband from the club last night.
Yep. Yeah, but he was going. But anyhow, so Geno Jennings. I also know some pastor friends of mine that are not for the okie doke. The problem though is that many of the more prominent pastors, you know, preachers, you know, the ones that you know, I don't want to name any names, but we know who I'm talking about. Yep. Yeah. They're sort of they're not helping the problem. I'll just put it that way. No. But there are a lot, because I have pastor friends, and we frequently have conversations about some of these issues, and they're just as aware of the issues, but they feel paralyzed. They don't feel like there's anything that they can do.
Are they closing up their churches, or are they just kind of going with the flow?
Well, admittedly, some of them are maybe being less assertive about the issue than maybe they could be.
Gotcha.
Pandering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
at that point, it's survival, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, it's a challenge when you make your living, you know, behind the pulpit. You know, that can create all kinds of issues, and you start seeing attendance numbers go down and stuff, and you realize that, you know, the kid that you just sent to college, you know, there's going to be some bills due. I'm not saying that people are thinking of this stuff consciously. It's just like people are humans.
sure.
You know, and they're going to have that same sort of they're going to have the same tendencies as anybody else, the same fears and everything else. And it's like, well, what do I do? So,
Well, what do you do? What you have to. And that's where a lot of the other shenanigans can come in.
No. There used to be there were sort of three places where men could go, in particular black men could go, to sort of be frank and talk through issues, talk about whatever they wanted to. One of them, of course, was the barbershop. And the barbershop now, partially because there's so many single mothers, there's a lot of women in the barbershop because they're not dropping their sons off. They're staying there while their son gets their hair cut. Right?
Oh, wow.
So that creates an issue. So then that's been cut off. Another one, of course, was the black church. I mean, if you look historically, there's been a lot of, Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, there have been a lot of folks from the pulpit that have spoke to issues that were pertinent, stuff that needed to be said.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third thing was academics. So the whole purpose of tenure.
What's that? You've got it in your phone. It says DCFS. What is this? Oh. Whoops. Never mind. My bad. Go ahead.
That's okay. The third thing was, was academia.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And the purpose of tenure was so that folks could go where the research led. And speak freely. They could speak freely. They could talk on whatever topics. You know, and I've looked at some of my comments. You know, the programming on my channel is conversation and music. Right. Those are the topic. Those are the things. It's conversation and music. And I have been working on some strategies to combine these. And one of those attempts is my show called Thunder's Thoughts. Okay. And it's a live streaming program that's on 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. So you're on the live stream. Yes. Okay. Good shit, man. All right. Yeah, and I did a show last night, and it was called. Let's see, what was the name of that? Is dating a form of prostitution?
Oh shit, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe today it is. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, well, what I did was I used one of CGA's videos and then another content creator's video to sort of, you know, get a conversation going about the topic. And really, most of the tenets of dating really are more akin to prostitution than they are of courting. It's not like dating is like the modern version of courting. No, it's like dating is actually the modern version of prostitution.
Yes.
Matter of fact, like when
that's what it appears.
Yeah. So, anyhow, but you know, I look at some of my comments. Somebody came in my show last night.
Uh-oh.
And he was like, "Oh, you know, I came in here because of music." And he was like, "What the heck?" And he's like, you know, so then he has a commentary in the chat. And so in other words,
officially unsubscribed. Oh, God.
Yeah. In other words, shut up and dribble.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
That's what he was telling me.
Exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said. Shut up and dribble.
That's right. Shut up and dribble. You're supposed to be the saxophone player. I don't want to hear anything that you have to say that seems political or seems to be criticizing, certain aspects of the society.
Let you, my man.
Right. All right. So we're all getting older.
Yes. Oh God, yes.
Yeah, we're all getting older,
Yes.
and it seems as though you have, and hopefully this is definitely the case with me. It seems as you've gotten older, you've started to prioritize different kinds of things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about how things have changed, especially say over the last maybe 3 or 4 years?
Wow. Over the last 3 years, 3 years ago was what, 2019. If you had told me that I'd be where I am now 3 years ago, I would not have believed you. So my priority has always been my show, but I had no idea that it would turn into what it's turned into. But my priorities now are very, very different. Time has always been a very valuable commodity to me. And it was all about, hey, I got to work. I can't do that here in 2022. If, as you know, right before the CME, I was hospitalized with super duper high blood pressure. Holy moly. There was a lot going on. The stress of the whole Anthony Johnson situation, the first venue canceling my event because of Anthony Johnson. It was just a lot. It was a lot going on. And what it really came down to is one of the doctors in Phoenix said, hey, what is it that you do for a living? And I was like, oh God. I said, I'm a content creator. And he says, that's all you need to tell me. He's like, you probably work 16 to 20 hours per day. I said, yeah, you're probably right. I work about 16 hours a day. He says, he said, I know what I'm going to say is going to go in one ear and out the other. He says, but if you want to live past 55, you're really going to have to take some time to relax. And so the biggest change that I've made over the last 3 years, more recently over the last year, is that I've got to have time to just sit down, decompress, even if it's during the day. I'll go downstairs, because I'm doing it now lately. I'll go downstairs, half an hour, 45 minutes, just decompress, let my brain rest. Yeah, I'll pet my dogs, play with my cats, whatever the case may be, and then get at it. That's one priority that has changed. Another priority that has changed is I'm looking to take this thing offline. I wanted this to be, I never really thought that I could ever do an event off of YouTube, but I pulled it off, and it wasn't easy, but we did it. And so I think I think I'm going to really start focusing on that a lot more moving forward. So those are the two biggest things for me. What about you, Dev?
3 years ago, I was in corporate hell. So this is where I wanted my life to be 3 years ago. So I'm very happy. I love having 100% of my time and attention being spent on improving our lives and reinvesting my time in our business and helping you and doing things that, instead of doing it for the man, so to speak.
The man, the white man?
The white one, yeah.
Instead of doing it for the white one, you're doing it for the black one?
Yes.
Yes. But this one's mine, so
this is another case of the black man keeping us down.
It's time to pay my dues.
I joke with it. I joke with about it all the time, man. But,
so I'm very, very happy with the way things are going. I really hope that we're able to reach even more people over the next 3 years, and especially women, because I know it's really difficult for women to try to improve when half or more than half of the people out there say there's nothing wrong with you, you're great the way you are, and really, why is my life a mess? And it's difficult.
Derek Jackson.
It's what?
Cynthia G.
Derek Jackson. That's what she said. Okay. Yeah, so it's interesting. Last thing I ever wanted to be was in front of the camera. I like doing things behind the scenes. So this has been a big adjustment for me these last couple of months. But you know, whatever it takes, I'm here for Donovan.
So, speaking of pick-me's,
Pick-me's, baby.
so this is a pejorative. Yeah. So this has been a pejorative. This is like one of these things that they lob at, you know, if you seem to be sympathetic to men, their issues, if you actually are trying to see things maybe from their perspective, if you're willing to do stuff like be submissive, or, you know, there's a list of bad words. Obey, that's
Yes.
a bad word.
Yes.
You know, let's see here.
Verb, yes.
Traditional is a bad word, especially when it's followed by woman.
Oh my God, yes.
You know, so there's all of these there's this list of bad words. You know, being cooperative, you know, that's considered, that's considered a bad word. You know, being dependent or interdependent on a man,
Yes.
that's a bad thing.
That's especially in the Black community. Yeah.
No. Yeah, all of that stuff is considered
Taboo, really,
you know,
right?
I'm sorry?
Taboo, right?
Yeah, taboo, you know, wrong-headed, you know, basically you're just going to set yourself up for, calamity, for failure.
How's that working out for you, Dan?
I'm here, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, this is the thing, man. I think this is the reason why I've taken a turn in my content, is that I want people to see, hey, man, like, you can't have a successful relationship if a woman, you know, listen, a man has to build himself up to the point to where women want to follow. But when you get to that point, women will make themselves available to you. And so I hope to be the living example. Hey guys, listen, man, I know I've talked about bitches ain't shit for the last 5+ years, but I'm 44 now. You know, I entered the Manosphere, Jesus Christ, when I was 35, and a lot has changed. A lot has changed with my life and in the Manosphere in general. And just like you said, man, at the top of the broadcast, I mean, we grow up, things change, man. I mean, there was a time in my life where I wanted nothing more than to fuck as many broads I could until the day I died. But you grow up, you know, and you know, spinning plates is great fun, but it is a lot of work, and there are some disadvantages. So you know, I hope to show people not only that I'm happy, but to show women, hey, if you really want to be happy, if you really want to be content, this is how you do it. That's why I got Dev front and center now. I wanted to tell all these bitches, hey, look, check this out. It's not all that bad. Yes,
I feel
there
so
are some
sorry
things.
for her.
Oh my God, yeah, right.
I get that a lot.
Blink twice if you need help. Oh my God, it's so condescending. But I mean, listen, Dev,
Really, Devin, blink twice. Blink twice.
yeah,
if you
really,
need help.
exactly. It's just it's ridiculous. But they use these.
Was that a blank? Wait a minute. Was that a
That
blank?
was two. That was two.
I blink one eye at a time.
We'll talk about this later. But yeah, man, like that's why I got Dev out here, just to tell these women, hey, like, you guys can talk all the shit you want. I love my life, or at least that's what I'm assuming that she does.
Safe assumption.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't take anything for granted. I know that could change at any time, and so does she. And so the both of us work very hard to make sure that what we have invested, time, money, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, make sure we both get a payoff. But by the same token, I'm the leader. Like, if I need Dev's counsel, I will certainly consult with her. But in the end, I'm the one that has the final say. And if a woman wants to live a life that she can truly be proud of, those are the things you're going to have to just come to grips with.
Yeah, so I've interviewed a number of the so-called pick-me's, especially ones associated with the black, right? Especially associated with the Black Manosphere. So this interview playing behind me right now, this is Keisha Ariel.
Oh.
And now Keisha's married.
Yeah.
Married, and she's got three kids.
Okay.
We had a really good conversation, and all of the traditional values, all of that kind of stuff. And she was a talented musician, and she sort of gave that up because she wanted to.
Yeah, have a family.
She wanted to, really prioritize her family and all that kind of stuff. But that was a really good conversation. I suggest folks, go ahead and go and check that conversation out.
I didn't know you'd interviewed her.
Yeah, but it was a good conversation, and she, I interviewed her, Melanie King, Chantel Simone, Jessica X.
Yeah.
Let's see, I interviewed, I think I'm missing a couple, but in all of those conversations, and I ask pretty good questions, I'm not trying to be particularly confrontational.
Sure. But put their feet to the fire a little bit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I ask the questions. If they say something, then I follow up with something. I at least give people enough rope to hang themselves with. And none of them said stuff that to me sent my spidey senses, put me at alert that they were being insincere, or that they were doing this as a trick or a scheme. Now, what people will say is that, but they're doing that because they can make money. Well, you know what? I'm not creating content for free either.
Right.
And I don't know that you should expect people to do that. So that alone cannot be the reason why you say, hey, well, since they're making money, it must be hogwash.
Right.
It could be that, yes, they saw that they could make money, but it could be that they're actually saying stuff that they...
That's a very good point. I've never thought of it that way, because with the detractors of the Manosphere, they make it binary. Either you want to help people or you want to make money. If you're helping people, you shouldn't make money. But if you're making money, you're not helping people, you're scamming people. No, that's clearly not the case. We make a very good living for ourselves and we help people. You can do both. And the thing is it is rare indeed, because there are many, many more content creators in this space giving us a bad name than people giving us a good name. So they take the actions of all these bottom feeders and then they apply it to guys like us. But dude, I get emails every week. Hey, Donovan, you saved my life. Keep doing what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of stuff, I just let it. I mean, it used to bother me because I'm human, but now I just let it roll off my shoulders, because the overwhelming majority of the feedback we get has been positive, at least as far as I know, right?
I was gonna say, I recently, like my YouTube channel, quote unquote, like I just started putting a couple videos up there for the, from our show.
These are all the female shows we're gonna put, so it doesn't have the scourge of the Donovan Sharpe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm too busy really to be managing another YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're gonna have to upload them all.
But it's funny. I think I have like 18 subscribers, and
really?
I got my first comment was from a female who says that she's been too afraid to call into your show or leave comments, but that she's really gotten a lot of help from you, and great to hear from me as well. As to how, like, from the female point of view. Yeah, I've had 2 comments, and 2 females have both jumped in saying, hey.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, America?
We're listening, yes.
Did you hear that, America? I helped a woman. See, I'm not all evil. All of the girls, Tallulah, Allie, they're always like, oh my God, you're so much different than I thought you were. And I'm like, what? You're so cool and easy to work with. And I'm like, well, listen, I'm only the devil 95% of the time. The other 5% of the time, I can't be Michael the Archangel. So yeah, it is what it is. I have my soft side.
You don't have unreasonable expectations, but you do have standards and expectations.
Yes, and I do not
You don't
waver.
Expect people to be mind readers either.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, they all like working with us, and they all love you.
Yeah,
like, I don't even know why I'm around.
They're awesome.
But our crew of ladies, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So, but yes, it's cool that a woman said Donovan is helping.
Yeah, it was a great comment.
Go figure.
Devon, what was your life like before you met Donovan?
Let's see. Donovan and I met right about the same time. We were both kind of at a crossroads. I had just gotten out of a 20-year relationship marriage. So, yeah, I was married for 18 years.
Yep.
So
Married for
I
a while.
was kind of going off the rails.
Kind of. She was
the
way off.
Newly single
Way
person.
off. Yeah, man. Way off the rails. Way
It
way
was
off
like,
the rails.
whoa, yeah. So and it was funny because I originally thought that red pill women were women doing the red pill thing, like spinning plates, a bunch of guys.
Right.
Like I had no idea what the hell
yeah.
the red pill was. And I had come across one of his articles and I reached out to him on Twitter. I was like, hey, I got questions. And that's how we started talking, believe it or not.
Yep.
My life has changed unequivocally. Like it's funny because I've learned what doesn't work, but I never learned like what did.
Right.
And even though like I do have good parents and they're in a long marriage. I think it's 40 years this year.
Woo! Wow.
So
God
yeah.
damn.
So I mean, but I grew up with thinking that you need to be independent. You can't do it all, and
I'm a PhD.
yeah. And I never really learned what a relationship was when it comes to trust and give and take.
Right.
And it was very, very hard for me, and especially the first 2-3 years, and even still today of our relationship, I'm still finding new ways of mentally letting go of things.
It's a constant learning process,
and submitting, like as far as, okay, you know what? Submission is 95% trust.
Yes.
And 5% shutting your mouth. Or maybe more than that, but
it's 90% trust and 90% shutting your mouth.
Learning to shut up and just see how things turn out. Not expressing your opinion is expressing mistrust. There's a lot of different things that I've been learning along the ways that are just normalized behavior that women do that just basically undermine men, emasculate men, and women don't even realize that they're doing it. And this type of subconscious behavior it's wrecking marriages, it's wrecking families, and it's making everybody unhappy. So I'm looking forward to exploring with the ladies and with Donovan, what are these like nefarious things that are ingrained in our behavior that are ruining us. Go ahead.
See, the thing is, in again, I think it's a stroke of genius that you have made the changes to your, I mean, over time you've made tweaks, changes, but this latest sort of round of changes where Devon is more Front Street, and then also the women panel show, and the collaborating with these other women content creators. It's a stroke of genius because it's for the same reason why I was interested in interviewing some of these so-called pygmies.
Yeah, right.
Well, the thing is that women can say stuff to women that men cannot say to women.
Right.
At least if you want them to actually listen.
Yes, right. That's exactly right.
And
I mean, there's some things, especially with the red pill stuff, that you can't say to other women. They either know it or they don't. It's like an unspoken thing.
Yep.
It's very, very difficult to have conversations with women who aren't like-minded. It's basically like I've lost so many friendships because they can't understand that my relationship is more important than my independence.
Yeah.
And,
I can't believe you said that.
Right. Yeah, because you actually got to give to get. Like they're used to just getting. And
right.
And they'll say you changed. You no longer look like my friend. And like the truth is, I was 39 years old. I just got my ears pierced for the first time, and I just got my nails done. But suddenly I'm a whole new person.
Yeah, right.
It's rather than encouraging one another, I think, and embracing change and saying, okay, hey, let's see where this goes for you. Most people are like, whoa, you're doing this for who? A man? Like, forget it. Like, you're brainwashed. Something's wrong with you.
Yeah, right. They didn't know who your boy was, though. They didn't know what was up.
They still don't.
Nope. Well, at some point they will. We'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, but and in particular, I'm talking about not necessarily women that you know. I'm talking about women that you don't know.
Oh yeah, the comments.
Yeah. So I'm saying, if I I just see the wisdom in having Devon Front Street to say a lot of the things that she says.
Yeah.
Because it just gives more credence to what it is that you're saying, that you've been saying all along.
Yes.
I think it also has done a good job of sort of humanizing you.
Oh, that sucks.
I have made
cyborg Donovan.
Now I made a couple comments. I sent in some super chats, and I was in one of them I said something about you guys are so cute.
Oh yes, I was like, no, Shawn, stop it. I remember that.
I did that because right. I knew that because it was you're going to be like, I'll take the money, but okay. I guess.
Man, I got a reputation.
Yeah. But it does a good job. Go ahead, man.
I was going to say, bringing Devon on was sort of a natural evolution because I've been talking about her for years and years and years, even back in 2017. I've been talking about her on the air now for 4 years. It'll be 4 years in September. And I talked about her so much that people actually used to think that she was just a figment of my imagination. And so now to see her, to see a manifest state of, wow, so she really does exist. Oh my God, she's actually co-signing on the thing she's saying. Donovan is not just lying. He's not just.
Don't forget, I've been swapped out with a new Devon.
Yeah, some idiot. Yeah, some idiot saw. That's not the same girl in the house pictures. All right, listen, man. Tell yourself whatever you have to. But what he meant, what the translation is, that is the woman on my screen is attractive. Wait, this is not the woman I've been talking shit about. Well, guess what, man? Like now, and one of the other reasons why I decided to bring Devon on was just to give the big fuck you to everybody. I mean, dude, we've been catching heat since last summer when Anthony Johnson put all of our information out there and Devon's ugly and this and that and the other. Okay, now I got something for y'all's asses. And so now, even when there are far less people commenting on Devon's looks, and the ones that do they're just doubling down. Oh, she's an adjustable 3. Keep telling yourself, keep telling yourself that as you put her in the spank bank. Your secret's safe with me. Crazy talk.
You can't really care. If people aren't there to listen to what you're gonna have to say, and not get over like their preconceived notions.
They were never really on board in the first place.
They're just there to make some kind of comment. It can get pretty rude, but
hey, they still watch. They still watch. Listen, appreciate the support.
I get in trouble if I read the comments. So
no, don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not allowed.
Don't do it. Nope, do not read the comments.
Thank you.
Man.
That's a rule I really like.
It is, because reading the comments can really fuck with your head. So I haven't read my comments in 2.5 years. So please, by all means, haters, bring it on.
No.
Love it.
Well, be nice.
No.
I think that's wise. I think that's wise because I think that might be somewhat of a new development for you, Donovan, not to read the comments.
Well, not read the comments or the chat.
Oh my God, that's every show right off the rails.
Well, that was also with O'Shea, because I used to get so much fucking hate from his audience, and and so finally, when I saw Rich Cooper had like memberships and everything, I was like, oh shit, now these sons of bitches gotta pay me to troll me? Perfect. And the trolls have they've gone away because they no longer have a voice. All they can do is put it in my comment section, which helps it in the algorithm. So please like, comment, subscribe, dislike, whatever the case may be. At least you're watching. I'll take those views. I don't care whether you hate watch me or watch me. Hey man, the number goes up.
Yeah, trolls are cheap. Trolls are cheap, so they don't want to pay to.
Oh no, they don't want to pay to troll. No, they don't.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So you talked a little bit about your health. I've seen some of your videos, some of your live stream videos. Like you did a 400-pound deadlift.
Oh yes.
I was in the comments on that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the fitness thing. Why is that important? I mean, I know you have a pretty amazing story about getting yourself in shape from being pretty badly out of shape.
Yeah.
So why is the fitness thing important, and why is it important for you to be streaming your your workout stuff? Why is that something that you want to do?
He loves candy.
Because it likes candy.
You love candy. You love sweets. You love cake. That's why fitness is important.
Yeah, she's right.
He can't keep anything in the house.
I've got a sweet tooth, man, and it's just, it's so bad. But the other reason is so that people can see that I walk the walk that I talk. I want people, and that another reason that's why I brought Devon on. I talk about myself all the time. I've got this nice $26,000 gym. I've got a woman who's submissive and blah, 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 blah. My life is so good that people just don't want to believe that I really lived the life I lived. Okay, cool. I'll give you a tour of my gym and I will work out in front of you guys. Nobody pulls 400 pounds without working out every day. You know what I mean? And so the reason I do those is not only now it gives me an adrenaline rush because I don't want to fail in front of, 140 people. But it's also to show and inspire them. Hey guys, like I'm not just some idiot on YouTube running off at the mouth, parroting other people's thoughts and about what I do this. Like Obsidian, he talked all this shit about he bends his perfect 10 over the couch and this and that and the third. I've seen Obsidian's girl, man. I've actually seen all three of them. They're in one person. There are a lot of guys out there who are fucking fake, man. They say that they're this, they say that they're that. Yeah, I deadlifted 500 pounds. Really? Prove it. You know what I mean? Well, I'm gonna do. And it's funny because I get trolls in Instagram. They be like, you shouldn't have. I warm up with 500 pounds. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Ray Ferrig or Lou Ferrigno. But the main reason I do it is to show people that I really do live this life. I really do live this life. There's so many guys who hate on me just because they want to believe that I'm this fraud. I'm not. And it's funny, ever since I started putting her on the screen and broadcasting my workouts, the haters really have the only thing they really talk about is Dev's age. Oh, she's 45. All right, cool. Well, if that's your only stone to cast towards me, I guess I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Now I will not tell her actual age because I'll get in trouble, significant trouble for doing that. I'm married.
Sure.
My wife is older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of have, in my dating life, have hedged towards folks that were older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is that there's a couple things. One of them is there's like a maturity thing and like topics and things that I want to be able to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
That, if I had to date somebody, if I had to be with somebody that was, younger than me, especially maybe 5 to 10 years younger, there would be the conversation would not be, I wouldn't want to have any, I wouldn't want to discuss any, I wouldn't want to talk about anything because it would just be.
There are pros and cons to dating younger women. I've done it most of my life. But I'm at a time in my life where I need a little bit more substance. Now, 40, 50 years ago, young pretty girls had substance because they were taught certain things. Right. But young pretty girls these days don't have any substance outside of maybe an ass pic or an Instagram following. They're a published model, whatever the case may be. The world gives these girls everything literally for nothing but the way they look. And so when they go into relationships, they think that that's really all that matters. So they don't know anything. Most of them are as dumb as a fucking basket, right? Now, that doesn't mean that they're not still enjoyable to have around from time to time. But a lot of guys, well, if these guys are so red pill, why aren't they spinning 20-year-old plates? My nigga, I don't have time. Like, I used to have time back in the day, bro. I'm trying to build an empire, man. I'm working 12, 14 hours a day at the very most. And I just don't have time. I just don't have the time to be out. I mean, I had the time in Vegas. I'm trying to build something, man. Yeah, listen, who knows? Maybe things change over the next 5 to 10 years, but listen, young girls are great, but at this point in my life, they're just not conducive to my overall success as a man.
Yeah, and another reason is that because culture has so massively changed, and what is common has so massively changed over the last 10 years, I'd say. If I was with somebody that was 5 years younger versus someone that was 5 years older, say, that 10-year difference would make a huge difference as far as the sort of common information base and the level of sophistication, the kind of things that you can discuss. And I don't know, man. But now it seems like, and this is my experience, there are of course exceptions to this.
Of course.
But it seems to me like anywhere from about 17 to about 35 is about the same conversation.
Yes. These days,
it's about the same topics, about the same stuff that they seem to be knowledgeable about. And to be fair, I think guys tend to be almost the same.
Yeah, of course.
In that age range also. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there are pros and cons to dating younger women. There are pros and cons to dating women around your age. There are pros and cons to dating older women. Most men would love to have a 50-year-old woman's head in a 20-year-old woman's body. But until we have that kind of technology, where this is what it is. You have to make your choice. What I think a lot of guys really fall short with, in terms of picking their women, they're only picking women that they're sexually attracted to and nothing else. There are so many other factors involved in a relationship, because I mean, dude, you're fucking what? At the very most, you're fucking what? 15-20 minutes a day, so that's 1/96th of your day spent having sex. Well, what about the other 98% of your day? That's where the other factors come into play. And because dude, I've dated so many young hot girls that I genuinely did not like. Like, I did not like them. And it was just, it really becomes very hard. Oh yeah, we got to go pick up our pet in 10 minutes. Our dog's at the vet. We got to go pick him up here at 2:30. But yeah, so the bottom line is that too many guys, not enough guys have not enough qualifications. As long as she's fuckable, she's all good. Now, Dev is 45 and she offers me a lot more than young girls do, but make no mistake about it. If she were not sexually attractive, I would not be here. She happens to have been born with great physical genetics, and she's on my program in terms of the gym and HGH and testosterone and all that good stuff. So hopefully she'll be able to preserve her fantastic genetics. But make no mistake about it, like, sexual attraction is the #1 requirement. Just because it's the #1 requirement doesn't mean it's the most important requirement. But Dev has all of these things, and that's why she's sitting here with me now.
Well, thanks so much for sitting down with me again, Donovan.
Of course.
And
absolutely,
for the
man.
first time, Devon. And I'll have you know that this is the first Conversations with Dr. Thunder where I have interviewed 2 people at the same time.
Hey, we made history. Woohoo!
That's right. You have made history. And this will be, I think this is episode 187.
I was also episode 100, Shawn.
You were also episode 100.
I was. Right. I remember that.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. How about that?
Well, God bless you both, and thank you again for your time and energy.
Excellent, man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Shawn.
All right, now. See ya.